Hello, my name is Jack, and I wanted to spend some time making a video for anyone looking at coop upgrades or just getting started with their backyard chickens. My wife and I started our flock in the spring of 2022 and quickly learned that you cannot buy whatever catches your eyes when it comes to chickens because it will probably not be as advertised. The thing we learned is to set a budget for your own flock on paper and then basically multiply that by 4 and you will land at the proper price of what it costs to own backyard chickens. So it's just a little background. We started off with this Producer's Pride Hill Country model chicken coop. We started off with 4 ladies in our coop that we purchased from the local Tractor Supply with this coop. The list price for it was $450. But we happened to get a clearance one that someone had returned, and it was only $300. And let me just say this is where we went wrong. This coop was clearly returned for a reason, and we did not do enough due diligence to find out why it was returned. Well, we found out the hard way. This first coop lasted us about 3 months total. By the end of the first month, the entire coop structure was leaning heavily to one side. My wife and I went around and tried to retighten all the screws that had come loose because the wood was so cheap. It was basically balsa wood that all the screws had become loose. We went around and retightened all the screws, and that lasted us for about another 2 months before the coop started leaning so heavily. It was almost like a 45-degree lean, and I had one good kick on it. It just made the whole thing collapse on itself. Lesson learned on that one. So with those lessons learned, we went back to Tractor Supply and we purchased this upgraded coop from PetMate. And its main marketing was it was superior construction, thicker wood, and would last longer. Well, all the marketing was correct. It was worth the little bit extra money, but it was disappointing to set up and learn that none of the wood was sealed. So it was basically a raw wood coop that we had to seal ourselves, which took an extra 2 days that we were not planning for. So just a heads up, if anyone's planning on getting this one, you will have to stain and seal the entire thing, inside and outside. But of course, this is just a 1-year review. We've had this coop for a year. It's still standing, still doing great, and it's been great for our 4 original OG chickens. Then moving on, in the summer of 23, we were ready to expand our flock and decided to go back, purchase 10 more chickens and a bigger coop. We knew that while these baby chicks were growing inside the house, that we would have about 2 to 3 months to prepare a new coop and a new living situation for everyone. That is when we went back to Tractor Supply for a third time and went all out with this Producer's Pride Defender coop, which looks like basically a giant dog kennel with a coop attached on one side. We knew that we could not purchase the PetSafe coop again because 4 chickens full size were already too big, so we wanted another step up in size for these new birds. The PetSafe coop is actually so small that we have a problem where the girls decide to sleep outside on the roosting bars more often than inside of the coop. We tried for 2 weeks to move them back and forth, put them back in the coop at night, but they are determined to sleep outside. They seem to prefer it outside. So getting to the Defender coop, it's been about 6 months since we've had this one. And I just wanted to share what we've learned about it because $1,500 for a chicken coop is a lot of money. And I should have done some research before purchasing. So right to the point, the Defender coop with tarp cover is a great coop for at least 10 to 14 chickens, I would say. I currently believe it is the best coop offered by Tractor Supply. But the major downside that I wish I had known before I got this is the water intrusion into the actual wooden coop part. The major downside is the water that sheds off of the tarp of the cage run, sheds off of the tarp, goes into the coop and basically rains like a gutter onto the coop door and the coop ramp. So we found this the first time. It rained extremely hard at our house. Went out the next day to clean up the coop area and found that there was 2 inches of standing water in the bottom metal pans of the inside of the coop. So I really recommend you got to have a bigger tarp than what is sold to go with this coop. We, as you can see, put a massive tarp over top, and that's really helped. But as you'll see from this video I have, we still have to go and I have to get the water that accumulates on top of the tarp. I really wish this had come with some kind of gutter system or a diverter or something, because it's just an oversight, and it's really the worst thing we found about this coop. I would recommend buying the bigger tarp than just the Defender tarp. I ended up buying, the biggest one that you see here. It helps with the shade, helps keep the temperature in the coop down, and it's been really good so far. If I had to buy another one, I would probably buy this one again with some modifications made to it, and it's been really good so far.